I'm doing pop culture, entertainment, things like that. Also following Marilyn Manson. This here's from Marilyn Manson Uncancelled from Twitter, and he says, for some reason, my questions tend to make headlines. The question in the black and white photo from Ashley's Instagram story is mine. She actually gave me more details privately that I will share hopefully tomorrow at this point. So, looks like the Daily Mail picked up on this story. They've been covering Manson here and there, but it seems like it just broke out more mainstream within the last week or two. The headline says, "This is what happens when horrible girls get bored," Marilyn Manson accuser who backtracked on sexual assault claims blasts Evan Rachel Wood as full of shit after Starr denied she manipulated her to lie. Yeah, that's right. I know Evan Rachel Wood was in Westworld and things like that, but she wasn't really progressing her career. She wasn't in big movies, in the spotlight, gaining traction, going up and up. She was kind of plateaued out. I can't imagine something bigger than Westworld after Westworld, so I would imagine, based on this, she had some time to think about doing certain things, and one of those things was accusing Marilyn Manson and making an HBO documentary. Those are facts. But I could be wrong. Maybe she was a rising star. Here are the main things they got into. Ashley Morgan Smithline, 38, said actress Evan Rachel Wood, 35, was full of shit and was destroying people with no conscience just because she can. She also claimed Wood hacked into her phone and Instagram, cloning conversations that never took place. Smithline said Wood manipulated her to make accusations of the R word and assault against Manson that were not true, which she has since rescinded. And hey, okay, Daily Mail once in a while plays both sides of the fence, and I think that's happening here. Now we have a little bit of a conundrum here. We're supposed to believe all women, but Smithline's a woman, and so is Wood. So who do I believe? Well, I'll believe Smithline. I guess because she's a woman, but then I should believe Evan Rachel Wood, but okay, you get the idea. This article here was very long, so I clipped out some things I wanted to talk about. Ashley Morgan Smithline, 38, who had a brief relationship with Manson back in 2010, has accused Wood, 35, of manipulating her to make accusations against the singer. Evan is full of shit. She calls people narcissistic and sociopath, Smithline wrote on Instagram. Watch her film, Pretty Puritan. Literally a roadmap of this whole thing, or the crucible. Now, I'd be a hypocrite if I said things you did in movies and songs or whatnot means you could map that onto real life. There's something to be said about it. It's just not enough to prove something. So I've said you can't judge Manson by things he said in song lyrics and books and interviews. So if I said that we can judge Evan Rachel Wood on this, I'd be a hypocrite. But I will remind you, I'm not saying there's nothing to be said about the fact Manson said those things. It's just not enough for evidence. It's not enough to prove guilt. That's the thing. This is what happens when horrible girls get bored, she continued. She's destroying people with no conscience just because she can. She accused Manson of assault in June 2021, but retract that early this month. Would accuse Manson of abused in February 21. Maybe they meant of being abused and retracted that. I didn't cut it out. I'm pretty sure those are typos. We know what they mean. Esme Bianco, a former girlfriend of Manson, had also accused him of alleged sexual, physical, and emotional abuse. But Manson's attorney pointed out that Smithline's lawyer, J.L. Wagner, was the same attorney representing Bianco in her sexual assault case. Right, same guy. Good thing to point out. Smithline claims that she felt ganged up and manipulated by Woods, Bianco, and her own attorney, and that was what prompted her to repeat the false R-word claims because he said she felt emotionally manipulated. Manson's ex also said she never received any money from Mr. Warner and not seeking any money from him. I have no intention of refiling any lawsuit against Mr. Warner, she said. She claimed that Wood pursued her to make accusations of the R word and assault against Manson that were not true. The court documents also claimed that Smithline felt pressured by her legal team to speak out publicly about her alleged experience because if she does, they get attention and they get in the media, and that works for them. But Wood has now filed her own court documents refuting the claims and presenting evidence that Smithline was pressured by Manson's attorneys to drop her suit and claim she made up the whole thing. Well, Wood has to prove that she's not now telling the truth because of them, because they could have persuaded her and encouraged her to tell the truth. So the whole thing isn't really about what they made her say. The whole thing is about if what she said is true. Because if what she said is true, then of course they should have gotten her to say that and tried to get her to say the truth. As part of these court documents, Evans included more than 3 years of reported correspondence, including a voicemail Smithline allegedly sent a friend in which she expressed fear that Manson's legal team was coming after her, and she felt she was being treated as the weakest link. I've said this before, she might have been the weakest link, but the problem is that doesn't mean that she's now lying. That just means she's a link that might change her mind in what she says or change her opinion or something like that, which I'm agreeing with them. Maybe she was the weak link. But if what she said was true, that doesn't really say anything. She could be the weakest link. I found it pretty interesting. Daily Mail is now in on this. It seems like a lot more media is picking up on it. By the way, this is from March 1st, 2023, so it's pretty new here. They're behind a little bit, as you could tell. Some details are old, but that's what happens. The mainstream doesn't want to cover it until it gets so big they can't avoid it. And sometimes they can't avoid saying things they don't want to say against their narrative, but those things are too big in the news to twist and spin because people know. Consider subscribing here. If you don't, I'll be really sad about it. If you subscribe, I'll be happy about it. Yeah, that came out right. We're done here. See you next time.